guess what? I actually did it. I ended up running. I guess you could say that I did it because I did run 92 miles and I did walk 18 miles. So I'm counting it as that I completed the challenge because I'm pretty much there anyway. And I feel like most people that do these challenges count their walking as well. Gosh, dang. Okay, there we go. Sorry, it's in my car. Anyway, but yeah, definitely excited to be done. I'm excited to take on any other challenge that I come up with or just see online. Definitely very humbling experience. What I learned the most from this is that running is so much more mental than it is physically. I feel like convincing your mind to be able to go out and actually run 100 miles, it's a lot more difficult than it is to actually go physically out and go do it. Because your body is able to respond and adapt to any situation. Like, for example, when it's really cold outside, your body is going to be able to adapt over time to be able to like keep its homeostasis at its consistent temperature when you have more layers on. Just like how when it's really hot outside, we adapt to that and are able to make sure that our body temperature still remains at a healthy 98.6 or whatever that might be, you know? So I felt like as the time went on throughout this week, my body was adapting to it. But my mind was the biggest challenge because I had to keep thinking, all right, stay in the moment. You're only going to be doing this for so long, like X amount of time. Like once your watch hits X amount of miles, like let's stop, let's call it good, let's go back home, let's try to reset your mind and go out and do it again. And when I would go out and do it again after I ran a majority of my run in the morning and then gave it like 2-3 hours and went out again the second time, I made sure that I knew that I didn't have to run as far as I did in the morning and that it would only take X amount of time because once I got X amount of time, I knew I could stop. And with that being said, like I didn't want to go out like a couple miles on the second run and then turn around and run back home. What I would do is I would run to however far I needed to be and then I would walk back because I knew that if I would turn around, then it's like, crap, now I got to see the same thing again. So again, it's all a mental game, and that's the biggest takeaway that I have from this. I know that what I did was crazy. I know what I did was insane. But honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I'm so thankful that I was able to do that. Like 100 miles, like that's crazy. I don't know how these people that are like ultra runners go out and just run 100 miles like in one day. Like that's insane. Whatever they're doing, I want to get there because I feel like with running and where I'm at with running is I want to be able to break these obstacles and take on these new challenges because it's one thing to go out and run like a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a marathon. I've already done that. 100 miles is something that I had never done. And knowing that I did that, that just makes me so happy. So I don't know what my next goal is. I'll probably think about it a little bit. I'm going to take a little, like a recovery week starting on Monday. And then probably slowly get back to where I was, mileage-wise, consistently between 50, 60, maybe 65, but I want to slowly build back up to that. I just don't want to jump straight into it. But yeah, definitely, I can't believe I did that. My body, it kind of hurts a little bit. My legs are definitely a little sore, but I'm not as like mentally exhausted as I was when I was recording day 3 on Wednesday. Like I honestly don't even remember doing most of that. But yeah, no, definitely very humbling experience. I recommend that if you're new to running or you want to try running, go for it. Make anything a goal. Start small, dream big. Have those smaller goals that lead up to those big goals. Like if you're going to want to run your first 5K, awesome. Get out and run your first mile and see how you feel. And then that's a milestone that you can cross. Just like how I had never run 100 miles and I did it, Like I had never run back-to-back miles after miles after miles like in a day. So like what I'm trying to say is I had never run doubles before consistently. I've done a couple before, but I haven't done it that consistently, nor have I done it that far. And also I don't edit my videos because number 1, I want it to be natural and raw, just like kind of how I am as a person. And number 2, I really don't want to take the time to learn how to do that. So I feel like with YouTube, which is a whole nother subject I could go on and rant on, is Don't edit your videos. Don't add fancy this and that. Just make it yourself and who you are, because you have a platform through YouTube. You might as well express your person as is. So that's kind of where I stand with that. But anyway, yeah. Set your goals big. Have a lot of little ones that you can achieve along the way, and go out and do it. But yeah, I mean, any advice that I have is don't think of anything while you're running. Just go out and do it. I ran all those miles alone and by myself. As much as I would have wanted to have like an extra person with me, you know, I'm glad that I did it alone, because that's a whole nother level of craziness in my opinion, you know, like waking up, doing it by yourself, going out again, doing it all over again the next day, etc., etc., etc. I mean, who would have thought like that I would have done that? Because the goal was for me to run another marathon in the next like 2 weeks, but my life's kind of crazy, went a couple different directions, and you know, I feel like this is what I was meant to do. This is where I was supposed to be in that moment this week, running 100 miles, you know. I think next week is going to be a week of just like remembering what I did, remembering what I'm going to do to get to where I want to be next, sort of. So it's going to be more of like a reflection week, more of a recovery week, which is kind of expected. But I'm excited to see where my life goes with not only running, but my life in general. And we'll go from there. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And if you have any questions with running, feel free to send them my way. See ya.